Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Hi-Fi Hour. I have the pleasure of interviewing Hugo Decelle from Triangle Hi-Fi today. Hugo, how are you doing today? You're coming all the way from France.
Yeah, it was a long travel. Thanks to internet, it's kind of quick, but I'm
Yeah.
doing great. It's on the morning, so just had a morning coffee and happy to talk to you guys.
I'm having my 2 a.m. coffee, so it's okay. We're both enjoying our cup of coffee. Um, so I recently reviewed on my channel the Borea BR03 bookshelf speakers from your company. And I was absolutely, well, now that the video's out, I can talk about it. I was absolutely amazed by the quality, not only the aesthetic. I mean, they look fantastic, but the sound quality is so balanced and natural and beautiful, and it's not what you would expect from a $500 pair of bookshelf speakers. Um, that was amazing. So thank you for sharing that experience with me. And I cannot wait to learn more about Triangle. And I would love to share with my whole audience everything there is to know about Triangle, because I feel like it's a company that has a lot to offer.
All right. So first of all, thanks a lot that taking the time to listen our product, and we are very happy that now some listeners, some hi-fi enthusiasts, has the opportunity to discover our brand, our speakers, and if you appreciate the BR03, we are more than happy. So please feel free to ask any question, and I try to be as much honest as possible.
Well, I'm curious because, uh, as I mentioned before the show, I am so amazed that you have the Borea at such a low price, but you also have a higher end, you know, offering as well. So you have the Signature, you have the Magellan, you have the 40th anniversary. Can you tell me a little bit about the higher end side of Triangle, and what is the what how does the price point fit in there? Is it on the other end of the spectrum, or does it still stay with that reasonably priced format that you have?
Mm, the thing is, like, Triangle is like a very old company now. We have been celebrating our 40 years old anniversary, so it's not as old as Klipsch, I admit, but it's still fairly experienced now. And what happened is, like, Triangle in history was really specialized into mid-level price speakers, try to get as much as high-end component, high-end acoustic experience inside reasonably priced budgets. And what happened is, like, in 2000, Triangle has started a new path and try to say, okay, we have a big experience. Let's show to the world what will be our flagship, what will be our the best speakers that we can produce. And I don't see if you see on the screen, but I'm standing next to the grand concert. Do you
Yes,
see it?
yeah, we can see it absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Those are
So
quite the speaker. That is a huge. That's got to be what 12 feet tall.
I think it's I'm sorry, I'm not very good at feet. It's like 2.2 meters high.
Okay, so
Um,
about 10 feet. That's I think, yeah, my math is correct. So I'm sure you're a tall guy, and that you look small compared to those.
I'm not that tall. That's why it looks even bigger. And the thing is, like, this is a grand concert, so this is our flagship. This is the highest model of our highest range, which is the Magellan range. And this is like the third version of the grand concert. The first one has been developed in 2002, and we've been doing several upgrades since. And yeah, this costs now $80,000 a pair. So it's a very expensive speakers for sure. It's not crazy expensive, such as very like a Skyhand brand, because that's not our identity. What we wanted to do is, like, say, okay, we apply the same techniques we are doing for producing good drivers, good cabinets, but let's spend money on very high quality material. First of all, the wood is like something super important. The quality of the wood is what's absorbing vibration and giving a clear sound. So with Magellan, you've got a super high density wood, super thick. This is like 100 kilograms, so speaker, so it's 200 pounds, I believe, 220 pounds, something like that each. So yeah, we spent like a lot of money on high quality wood, high quality basket, high quality membrane, and try to display what we do the best. And from that, we try to say, okay, we learn a lot of things by developing our flagship speaker during the last 15 years, how we can apply those knowledge, that knowledge and those discovery into like more reasonable speakers. And progressively, we are stepping down from signatures, which is around from $5,000 to $10,000 pair, to Esprit, which is from $1,000 to $3,000 pair. And then recently, we've been launching Borea, which is between like $500 and $1,500. So it's like similar recipes, but it's all about the material quality and how it will impact the sound and the music you've got at home.
Well, I'm curious about something. The Comete, Titus, and Haida. I hope I said all that right.
Yep, definitely.
Um, um, French is something I wanted to learn so much. I am bilingual, but I don't speak French. But I wish I could have learned French in high school. But
It's
I
a
hope.
terrible language. It's like super complicated to learn.
Oh, come on! They call it the language of love, man. Come on.
That's a
um,
good cliche that we've got.
but yeah, the Comete, Titus, and Haida. How would you describe is there a huge difference in sound between those three models, or am I going to get the same kind of quality and sound quality as the Borea? How would you compare, and how would you compare those three to the Borea?
Um, okay, for example, Comet and Borea are similar kind of speakers. Let's say this is what we call a 6-inch woofer stand mount big bookshelf, kind
Hmm.
of. So they are both used for the same purpose. Like you don't want a big floor stander, you don't want a very super compact bookshelf. You want something in the middle, which giving you good bass, can feel like medium rooms without taking too much space. You go to one of those bookshelf, large bookshelf, and we are offering different kind. We've got like the Borea for the BR3 for Borea, the Comet for Esprit. We've got the Theta for signatures and the Duetto for Magellan. Each time is the same format, so it fits more or less with the same kind of room and the same kind of needs. And then after, yeah, the budget is not the same. And what we've been doing um, at Borea is, first of all, you need to understand what is a triangle sound. Triangle has been found by a guy named Renaud de Vergniet. It's really what we call the romantic guy, because it was really all about emotion rather than techniques. And he wanted like a special sound because he was a huge fan of classical music. He wanted something like as much detail and with a huge sound stage. The most important for him, it was not about being realistic. It's about putting yourself into a screen of music in front of you, and you can hear the cello, you can hear the bass, you can hear the drum in different parts of the room. So the triangle sound is really something with a huge sound stage and a lot of details. This is what are the main thing, and we are using for that like very clear mid-range, fast bass but not too loud, and very crispy high end. That's our sound signatures. And what happened is with Borea, we've decided to move from our main sound signatures to something a bit more easygoing, because the BRO3 will be used with entry-level amplifier. So we use the Silk Dome tweeter, and it gives a tiny bit warmer sound. So from what we are used to do at Triangle. When you go to Comet, you've got something like a bit more detail, faster, with like wider sound stage, and a bit more like going toward more what is our Triangle philosophy. And this philosophy gets more present, more noticeable, more we go high end.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm clear enough. Like when we start entry level, we try to like please as much people as possible, offer good hi-fi system at reasonable price. And when you step up, you say, well, okay, I'm start to love this triangle sound. I want more. And this is what
Hmm.
we try to offer when we go higher end.
Well, you've definitely you've you've definitely intrigued me. Um, Now, how I stumbled upon the Borea was a colleague of mine who also runs his own YouTube channel. Um, I asked him a question, a very important question. I said, for the person starting out in hi-fi, for a person for their first speaker to get into the world of hi-fi and to the hobby of hi-fi, what would you recommend? And without hesitation, he said the Triangle Borea BR03. And this guy has heard every speaker from every company and has been in the business for a very long time. He's actually in the industry as well. So I took his recommendation very seriously, which is what originally inspired me to reach out and to see what's going on over at Triangle, and I wasn't disappointed. Actually, right now the Boreas are in my home theater right now, and I have them about I'd say maybe 12 feet, 10 to 12, about 10 feet apart, and the soundstage is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not running a center channel right now because I just sold my center channel. So I'm just running those two in the front. I'm running different speakers in the rears, but the sound quality and the soundstage and the imaging is perfect. I used it for movies, and I used it today. I actually played a video game on Xbox, and wow, wow, the punch, the deepness of the low end, the mid is very accurate. The highs are just the treble is just beautiful. And you did this for $500 for the pair. That's what amazes me, is that your entry level is most people's mid, you know. So
Thank you.
I don't know. Now the speaker that's right next to you, the tower, is that the Borea Tower?
Yeah, that's a one Borea tower. This is, I don't know if you see incomplete. This is the BR09. So um, it's um, it's like basically once we are developing a range as many speaker manufacturer, we try to apply the similar principle on a large different size of speakers to fit different needs and different room. um, and when you say to me like, yeah, well, how you did for like having good speaker at reasonable price, that's something in fact which is super important to us. Is like our engineers is always about, okay, what are the most important things which is making great sound, and how can we be as much pragmatic as possible in order to give with a reasonable budget a good performance. And that's why we've been deciding to go back to like Silk Dome Tweeter, because for entry levels they are easy to drive. You like the mid range is something, a sound signature that we've got. We keep on using paper for mid range since the beginning. Our founder decided that in the 80s, and we always follow that way.
Hmm.
We do believe that's what's helped to give a very wide sound stage and giving natural voices. And drivers, yeah, bass drivers, they need to be fast, they need to be powerful, but first fast. And after, wood construction is like about, yeah, how we find out with reasonable wood material, reasonable price wood material, how we can construct the cabinet with different kind of reinforcements to make it easy and nice. The finish is like a standard PVC finish, but we try to make it look as good and as modern as possible. So they are not like super expensive material, but in order, it's simply like we try to assemble it and make it as much pragmatic as possible to make it sound great. And
Hmm.
I'm glad you appreciate. And if
Absolutely.
I want to present, if you want me to present the Borea BR9, which are about to get released in the United States. We've got the BR8 recently released. It's a three-way floor standard speakers. So you've got one way for the tweeter, one way for the mid-range, and here you got like three woofers. So they are 6.5 inch woofer. That's the size that we've been using the most, because for us, that's the perfect size for entry and mid-level speakers. 6.5 inch gives the opportunity to have a good mid-range. The frequency curve for mid-range on 6.5 inch is good. And for woofers, of course, we can go bigger, but it will break the design first. and when you go bigger you go slower, so we want to get be fast, and that's why we use a combination of three woofers. Once we want very good bass, so these speakers will be recommended for home theater or for rooms which are bigger than 25 square meters. Sorry,
Mhm.
I can't translate that in feet. I'll do that.
Oh, that's no problem at all. Yeah, they look fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and I can only imagine how beautiful the sound would be with the matching center channel, using the the BR03s as the rears, using those in the front, and then using the matching center channel. I bet that sound is out of this world.
Yeah, yeah, we've been very happy with home theater, and we can't wait that you gotta try.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love to try those out. Those would be super super cool. Now, a little off topic, you do have subwoofers. You have an 8 inch and a 10 inch, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
And would you say those are more for music? Would you consider them more for home theater? Can they perform as home theater? Because they, 8 and 10 inch. A lot of people here in the United States they like their big subwoofers and their big stuff. But I think a 10 inch sub can have a lot of low end, and people don't realize that. So, how would you recommend your subwoofers? What's the perfect customer for your subwoofers?
Okay, so we've got like two different range of subwoofers. We've got one which is the Thales, written as Tails in English,
Hmm.
which is a 340. This is like a very good entry level subwoofer, like super easy to pair for more like home theater system within Borea. We are selling more and more like also active amplified bookshelf such as LNO1A. So in order to set up 2.1 system, it's perfect. And this is what we have been recommended for the Thales. Like for us, as you say, no point to have like a super big subwoofer, especially in entry level, because it's all about driver control. When you've got a big driver, it's doing some bass, but it can be a bit floppy because you need like a super powerful amplifier and a quite a specific driver structure to maintain it within the right rhythm. Otherwise, you've got the problem that the bass will be rolling and will be a bit not in the right tempo, not the right
Hmm.
rhythm. Sorry, I've got trouble to translate that. And that's why we prefer to make it like reasonable size, but fast, punchy. That's the most important for us. That's why we stop with 10-inch for our entry and mid level. So entry level 10-inch, easy to pair, Borea, home theater setup, that's perfect, or within an O1A. And after, we've got two other subwoofers, which are updating the Tethys. You will see soon on our website, it's going to be updated. It's going to be Tethys 300 and Tethys 340.
Hmm.
And those are very specific. Tethys 300 is more for music or for small home theater room. It's an 8-inch driver. It's perfect for small bookshelf or small apartments. You know, in Europe also, we've got small apartments. Some people live in like 20 square meters apartments. So, sorry, maybe the microphone was off. Sometimes they don't need a huge subwoofer because having a too big subwoofer on a too small room is not pleasant. The bass will be bouncing off the wall, coming back to you, interfere with mid and high frequencies. You need each time to set up a system, the right balance within your room. And
Hmm.
the 33 280, which are becoming 300, is for small room, more like Hifi system for supporting like small bookshelf, small floor standards and stuff like that. We've got, for example, the Gaia Easy on the Esprit Easy line, which are 5-inch, small, very thin floor standards. The Tethys 300 will be perfect for that. And the Tethys 340, which is a 10-inch, is more the same as the Thales, but it will be both music and home theater because it has a bit more speed, it has a bit more control, and that's what we are looking to do. So, and also we do believe that it's not our main focus on doing super huge subwoofers. If you want something big, go to Earthquake, go to Rail. We've got no problem with that. We simply try to develop something suitable for small to medium-sized room, suitable for entry and mid-level, and that's it. We're not saying like we are fitting any purposes, but for some of them, I do believe that a triangle subwoofer might make sense.
Well, I mean, I can tell you right off the bat, the Borea, the BR03, it uh, measured very well as far as low end goes. It went pretty deep. You know, it didn't start falling off until I think around 42 hertz, and then it was a nice fall off. And I mean, in room, they have really good bass. Like for a 6-inch driver, um, I think it's a win, you know. And like you said, you pair it with an 8 or a 10-inch sub, and that gets you down to 20 hertz, maybe 15 hertz in room. And I mean, musically, if you're listening to music, not much music goes below 20 hertz, you know. So if you can get down to 20 hertz and you're only listening to music in a 2.1 system, you have the perfect setup. Now, a lot of people with home theater, they like that subsonic. They like more of the feeling rather than the sound. That's the thing. That's the huge issue. Like so, at what point, because at some point you stop hearing it, you just feel it. You feel the subsonic, you know, uh, 10, 15 hertz, 5 hertz, 8 hertz, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So I agree with you. I totally agree with you that, especially in Europe, because primarily you guys have been in France for the past 20 years and you're now breaking through to the United States market, and people are still discovering you and experiencing you. And you've already had a lot of support from the YouTube community, from us, from the reviewers, obviously from publications that, are very impressed with your product. So you're off to a great start. Are you planning on pushing harder in the U.S. market? Are we going to see you at, hi-fi shows here or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. We've What's happened is like Triangle have been starting a new adventure like 5 years ago. Is We partner with like an hi dealer in upstate New York called Jason Tavares, which has 80K EV at Adirondack Audio and Video, upstate New York, and this is how it started. And we started small, like with like a tiny office, tiny warehouse, and just having him to help shipping and invoicing customers. And thanks to Borea, thanks to you, to the YouTube community, we get bigger. And for sure, we are more than happy now to push further and continue. We've been trying to be present at Expona during the last 2 years, but due to COVID, for sure, things are not possible now.
Hmm.
So Expona for sure, the New York Audio Show for sure. Um, we are partnering with Audiovision for the show in California, and let's see. In fact, time has been running so fast during the last 2 years, 1 year and a half, due to COVID, due to the success of Borea, that I haven't asked myself that question. I'm just focusing with my team in France, like say, okay, people have appreciated Borea because we are pragmatic, we are doing nice quality, and we try to offer the best to customers. So let's focus on doing that on our next range. So on my side, for example, I'm preparing the new generation of Esprit, which have been released in 2022, and I try to get myself inspired about what's have been appreciated in Borea and how I will run that. And I trust my team in US to do the best they can to stay humble, grow steadily but slowly. We do believe that's the right way to go.
That's amazing, and I'm really happy for you, and I'm happy for the growth of the company. I know we've had a really tough last couple years, and well, I know that with hi-fi though, it has been abnormally good for certain companies, but at the same time, what has happened, what I've noticed has happened is shipping is finding parts, finding certain manufacturing parts has been really tough these past 6 months to a year. So I'm
Yes.
hoping that will get better with time. I know the price of Neo has gone through the roof. Um, has these obstacles created a problem for Triangle, or are you guys totally okay with production and are moving forward as you normally would?
Mm, we are, if you look at the global pictures, we are okay. We are managing at the end to produce, we are managing at the end to sell. And as you said, surprisingly, many people get back to hi-fi during COVID and lockdown, and because they stay at home and they rediscover the pleasure of having a good stereo home theater system. So we are very um, not thankful, because it will sound that I'm thankful for pandemic, but happy for that. We've been the first surprised. But in terms of production and supply, everything takes more time. So what's happening is like the new product launch has been postponed one year by 18 months. Some production has been postponed by a month or two. And for sure, what we are seeing now is like the raw material, wood, metal, components are skyrocketing now. Price are skyrocketing. So we do expect that we will have to increase prices. For the moment, we try to contain as much as we can those prices by affecting our margin and our operational cost, because we don't believe that average American or European citizen had a huge increase in their salary. That's not the case. So we must follow the purchase power of our customer. So we try to resist, to absorb this wave. We try to believe that it's just a bump and things will calm down. But that's just a guess. Let's see in a few months how things will evolve. In fact, that's the first time for many years that professional has trouble to forecast what will be the future.
That's true because it's unpredictable right now. But yeah, I Hugo, you have been fantastic. Like I said, I'm very impressed with the products. I think the company is solid, and I'm excited to see the expansion here in the United States. I think the United States needs a brand like Triangle to kind of shake things up a little bit and let everybody know, hey, this is a really good thing. So thank you for that, and thank you for being
Excellent.
a great part of the community, the audio community. We all thank you. I'm sure I could speak for many of my colleagues because we are all very impressed with your product. Um, so thank you for taking the time to talk with me and to chat with me.
And thank you for you, first of all, to spend some time talking about our product and getting interested about a small French brand. We are very excited, and we are always listening your feedback. So don't hesitate to give us feedback, feeling, impression. We are kind of excited to discover the American way of thinking, which are sometimes a tiny bit different than the European one. And yeah, it's a new adventure. And please feel free to give us as many feedback and advice that you can. We'll be more than happy to listen to it and apply it in our product.
Well, if I tell you what, if I could speak for all Americans, I could say that we're very impressed. So um,
All right,
it's
so
definitely
we try
yeah.
to apply that in the next range. Then
Well, you're a breath of fresh air for everybody, I'm sure, and I look forward to meeting with you again on this type of platform to discuss further innovations and new products and things of that sort. But yeah, thank you again for taking the time,
my
Hugo.
pleasure.
I really appreciate it, and we will be talking with you very soon.